How to increase APM is one of the most googled questions about StarCraft 2, and literally everybody wants to be super fast in this game. But I think it's wrong, and here are the proofs that APM doesn't really matter. This is gonna be a small rant, but I need to tell you that. People think that to be a great player you need to have at least 200 or even 300 APM. And well, it might be true for players who compete in ESL events and dream hacks in GSL and World Championships, but there's a really huge gap even between low Grandmaster League and top 10. And you don't really need that high APM to reach Grandmaster League, especially nowadays when the competition got somewhat easier and there are just less players. Don't get me wrong, being fast and having a high speed is a good quality for StarCraft 2, but it's not the only thing that you need for this game, and in fact, it's not even the most important one. Many people are discouraged by the fact that you need to play lightning fast, and this is a pretty harmful stereotype for StarCraft 2. It's a goddamn strategy in the first place, not a clicking simulator. You shouldn't be discouraged because you are too old or too slow. In the majority of cases, APM is not the bottleneck that stops you from growing in StarCraft 2. Let me tell you my story. When I was setting my own records in the Grandmaster League, I would have around like 300 APM, and it's really high indeed, but I still lost quite a lot to players like Goody or Genius who had an average around 100 or maybe 120 APM. There were many great players in the history of StarCraft 2 who had a really low APM compared to other guys in esports. And the point is, fast speed doesn't equal being good or being super efficient. So I just played one random game to prove my point. Here is the view from my side. I'm enjoying my 300 APM here, and it looks like I'm playing really fast, and thus I must be efficient, right? But in reality, look at the amount of mistakes I make in this incredibly blatant, basic game. My queens don't get the right injects, I get supply blocks, I don't spread creep like at all, and even in Diamond you can see better creep spread. In total, I lose 14 drones due to my awful map control. And yet somehow the game goes on, I'm playing an aggressive +1 middling strategy that boils down to two basic things. I just send some links and drops and attack with the others. Minimum hotkeys, resources floating, but I still win the game against basically top 100 Grandmaster League, even though I don't play as much nowadays. My opponent was much faster and efficient than I was, and actually, it doesn't really matter as much as crucial decision making. While he saw a lot of links, he couldn't really tell that I was going for an attack, and a simple cannon or a battery on his main would have saved him this match. Essentially, APM is just a number. You can hit a really high one if you just warm up or spend time doing cool things like spreading creep or doing multiple injects, but it won't win games for you. Don't chase the numbers and pure speed, chase the efficiency. If you think EAPM tells you a better story, I think it's also a bit wrong. You can clearly see how it can inflate throughout the game, and in this engagement, for example, it rises up just because I do my minimal microing with my Hydras, but I won't say that was, this impactful or even necessary, so this number is somewhat inaccurate as well. Although it at least represents the actual useful clicks, not just, mindless spamming. And that's at least something you can aim for. So the baseline for being a very solid player is 100 EAPM, and I'm pretty sure you can hit it with some time. Remember that it also depends on your race, because Zerg, for example, always have higher APM on average, just due to how this race works. So APM is a kinda useless metric. It's very rarely a bottleneck for most of the players. You don't need more than 100 APM to be a Grandmaster player, and I've seen countless examples of that. You can be fast, and that's actually good, but still inefficient due to poor decision making or paying too much attention and your speed to things that don't really matter. Worst of all, you can spread yourself thin and be subpar with every action you take, as you're always in a hurry. Instead, focus on improving other aspects of the game and your APM will naturally increase. I started playing this game with maybe 50 or maybe like 60 APM on average and got to 300, and I never really trained APM on purpose. I was just playing ladder, just like everybody else does, and I started from the Bronze League, by the way, not from, Masters or Diamond. I was, going from the very bottom to the end. It grows fast when you develop habits within the game. So when you don't think about your actions but just reinforce those habits and your hands do the job for you. When every match becomes familiar, your hands will just act quicker, and to learn more how to achieve that, check out my main guide about hitting Grandmaster League and especially lesson 1. And that's it for today. I hope my rant was somewhat inspiring and you will not be too bothered with this number. Have a nice day and see you next time.